Welcome to Biz Coach and Coffee, where our guests are experts, entrepreneurs, coaches, and consultants that share tips, strategies, and tactics to help small business entrepreneurs grow their business for long-term success. Please welcome your host, Biz Coach Steve Feld.
Hello, I'm Biz Coach Steve Feld, and my goal is to stop business owners from suffering entrepreneurial depression and start making running their businesses much easier. Business owners and entrepreneurs hire me to crack multiple 6 and 7 figures without burning themselves out. Today, we have another great guest for you. We have Kyle Gillette. Now, Kyle, he's a business coach to home service and trade businesses. So he helps his clients grow their businesses, profits, and then their team through People First framework he developed in his year of 8 as an HR specialist, pet resort management, and running a men's mentoring program. Please welcome Kyle.
Hey, Steve, thanks for bringing me on.
Well, great, Kyle. I mean, working with the trades, it's a great thing. So how did you actually start your very first business? What got you into coaching and everything else?
Yeah, I ran a men's mentoring program for a little while, and I was in 3 different roles there. And the guy that mentored me there mentored me every Tuesday at lunch for 9 years.
Wow.
And he had owned 30 different businesses and was a multimillionaire in his 50s and retired from working and started this men's mentoring program. So I got introduced to him through the circumstance that was pretty cool. Did an interview with him and the director of the program. And they, at the end of the interview, they said, "Do you want the job?" Which wasn't what I expected. You know, you do an interview, usually don't get offered the job on the spot, but
Right.
I did. And I said yes, which meant I would be moving out of the apartment that I was living with my friend and moving into this place and living with these guys, 18 to 25, they're off track in life. And I'm supposed to be this expert, quote unquote, that's helping them to get their lives on track. And I helped them for sure, and then transitioned from that role into running a pet resort at the program for multiple years. And that pet resort supported the whole program, and then eventually ran the program in general. And that whole time I was mentored and learned business skills, got to practice them, and got to coach all that time the guys in the program. So that all kind of came together after we moved to the Pacific Northwest, and I went, I'm gonna do this professionally now.
Yeah, nice. So, I mean, you're working with trades, blue collar people. What got you into that niche?
Yeah, what happened is I grew up on a farm. I grew up on an orange farm in the middle of Central Valley of California. And my dad is an entrepreneur. Right when my sister was born, he started a business with his grandpa or his dad, excuse me, and my uncle. And I got to see that lifestyle. And it was pretty hard work for sure. And I got to be in that work from 7th grade to 12th grade. I was doing that work, and it's blue collar work. You know, it's boots in the dirt, and it's grinding, and it's hard. But my heart was for that, but I didn't want to be a farmer. And until recently, I didn't realize that's really where my heart is, because of the connection with that world and the connection through other jobs that I've had prior to this business. And I had to rebrand recently, and it forced me to niche. And I went, well, I really love my blue collar clients. Why not just niche towards them and really learn how to solve their problems as best as I possibly can and focus on that? I work with other people as well, but let me get great at helping this group. So it just fit so many different criteria, and I went for it.
Nice. Tradespeople are, they're service, manufacturing. What are the tradespeople that are blue collar business owners? What are their top concerns and problems?
Yeah, a lot of times it's hiring the right people. So they don't have a great process in place for hiring, or if they could put one in place, they're too busy doing the work of the business often. Or if they've graduated from that level of business and they're in the office, they don't have very good systems in place. And if they're even past that point and they've got good hiring in place, they've got good systems in place, now the issue becomes accountability, where they're having a hard time keeping their employees accountable and up-leveling the quality of service that they provide. Just depends on the industry. But those are kind of the levels. You start with, man, I got to figure out how to get out of the field and actually hire good people to replace me. Now I got to figure out how to train them properly. Now I got to develop systems, and now I got to hold people accountable to those systems. So it's kind of the triage of issues depending on the length of time someone's been in business and the success they've had.
Yeah, I know most of the trades people, I mean, they're great at their craft, but when it comes to business, it's like, what?
Yep. Yeah, they get wrapped up into doing the work. But these folks are really brilliant. And so if they have the space, they can create the time and space for themselves to think about running the business. They knock it out of the park. I mean, you got multi-million dollar businesses that are construction companies and landscaping companies and all that stuff that exist because they were given that space, or they gave themselves that space to actually develop the business. And so my job is, what I say is, stop the DIY approach to business, because so many of these guys, that's how they've run their businesses, is I'm going to do it myself and figure it out myself. But if you bring someone along to be your thinking partner, your accountability partner in the midst of this, you can skip the line. You could skip the mistake line and jump forward significantly in your business.
Great. Is there a specific trade that you are coaching the most?
Not particularly. I mean, it's construction and it's landscape. I would say there's other industries as well within the trades that I work in, but it's fairly broad in terms of that realm, if you will.
I got
no favorites necessarily.
I'm sorry, what?
I said no favorites necessarily.
What would be like one tip that you would tell your younger self?
Listen better. Shut up and listen more. I mean, that's most of the training that I'm getting right now and giving myself right now is learning how to be a better listener to my wife, to my kids, and to my clients, and to my mentors and my coach, right? Because it's so easy to just spout out answers and solutions. So when you're running a business and people come to you with questions, what's the first thing you do? Well, you offer an answer and a solution. Maybe the best thing to do would be to ask a question in return, which would simply be, what do you think? Right. I tell almost all my clients that have employees, I'm like, okay, when they come to you, why don't you offer a question in return? Just say, what do you think? And it completely shifts the dynamic of the organization with that one question, because you're engaging those folks, but it requires that you be good at listening. So true. Listen better, Kyle. That would be the advice I would give my younger self for sure.
And you really nailed it about business owners, because they're always, when someone brings them a problem, it's like, here's a solution. Instead of, what do you think? They probably have a better solution, or they're gonna now start thinking, wait a minute, they want me to have the solution. And it shifts the dynamic. And I know in running businesses, it's like, you could bring a problem to me, but also bring the solution with you.
Right. If you're going to bring a problem, come up with 1, 2, 3 solutions that you bring as well. And basically, I mean, you and I and most of the listeners probably know the power of masterminding. So you can essentially create mini mastermind sessions every single day when you interact with employees by asking simple questions and shutting up and getting their input and asking another question, getting more input. And then eventually, especially in meetings, if you've got 5 people meeting and you're trying to resolve a problem, ask some questions, and you have this amazing mastermind opportunity every single day in 2-minute increments or hour-long meetings. You have all these opportunities, and that alone is worth, I mean, literally millions and millions of dollars worth of problem solving. Oh,
absolutely. And it's so simple. And I wish a lot of business owners would just ask their employees a few more questions, because it's amazing. It's like, you hired them to do a job, and they're a specialist in whatever you hired them to do. Take advantage of that. I mean, you're paying for it.
Yeah, there's a Toyota dealership in town that recently got bought out by a company, and the previous ownership was doing a really crappy job, basically. And they came in and they asked the mechanics. They said, "Well, what do you guys want?" And the mechanics were shocked because they had never been asked what they wanted in the business. And so they're like, "We want our bonuses back." First of all, because they used to get bonuses and they were ripped away from them. And then they had some other stuff that they wanted, and this new owner group started to serve them in that way. And guess what happens? You have higher performing employees and happier customers.
I know, it's so hard to figure out, isn't it?
But we get caught up in the minutia. I mean, before you and I started recording, we were talking about that. There's the minutia of things that we got to get done. And if you could learn how to, yes, get those things done, but get past that and, delegate it to people or automate it or use AI or whatever you need to do so that you can actually embrace what business really is, which is the people side. Because that's what makes your business go, is the people, period. No matter what you do, people are what makes the business move forward. And it makes your life far more enjoyable if you have happy employees and loyal employees. And who doesn't want that?
And you could take a vacation.
Amazing.
It's crazy.
That would be amazing.
Great. We're going to take a quick break and listen to a word from our sponsor. We're going to be right back with Kyle.
This episode is sponsored by Spotlight Books. Get your expert book completed in 30 days. If you don't have an expert lead magnet book about you and how you serve your market, then visit www.spotlight-books.com. Link is also in the show notes. Put a spotlight on your expertise.
And we're back. We're talking about, having great employees, developing them, listening to them, asking them questions, not telling them what to do all the time, and hopefully take a vacation. And I've seen it so many businesses. The owner is that micromanager, never taken a vacation, very proud of it, wears it like a badge of honor. I haven't taken a vacation since I started this business. I'm like, first question out of my mouth is like, great, how's your spouse like that?
Right.
And they all of a sudden they went from proud, puffy chest to
deflated.
I'm like, get her on the phone. Let's talk.
Right.
And that really no. I'm like, yeah, because we're going to end this madness right now.
Yeah, taking a vacation can be scary. I mean, to be sure, because you're putting stuff out of your control in big ways, and especially if you're disconnecting fully. I mean, I'm taking 4 vacations between now and June, and one of them is going to be in Mexico, where I'm going to have no ability to connect with my clients, connect with the people that are helping me out with the business. A couple of the other ones I really need to make sure I'm disconnected because they're conferences. So if I have any connection, it'll be at the very end of the day, and I probably won't want to do that anyway.
Right.
But as I added them to my calendar, I'm going, man, no, it's okay. I got this. I can adjust things, reschedule people, and people respect the vacation. They get it. Right. Your clients will get it, or your customers will get it, and then your employees get it too. So, and you come back in a better state of mind, I hope, after doing a vacation.
And even if you're a solopreneur, still take the time, have that vacation. I swear to you, everyone will understand.
They will. That's true.
You got to recharge your batteries.
Yeah. And I know that when I do conferences or when I go on vacations, I come back fired up, and I come back with really good insight and wisdom from those experiences, and rested as well. Because it's tiring running a business, even if you're pretty efficient with your time and you don't work 80 hours a week and you work a reasonable number of hours, it's still tiring.
Oh, that's it. So true. Yeah. Take the time for yourself. I hate to say it, but you got to do it, and you got to recharge those batteries, because you're going to serve your clients, your vendors, your employees in such a greater way.
Yep. 100%.
Well, I know, most business owners are always talking about how great everything is. What is a challenge or a failure that you've had in your business, and how'd you overcome it?
I'll share 2 of them. So I'll go back a little bit for one of them and then jump to really recent for the next one. when COVID hit, my business took a tumble. I lost 75% of my business, which in certain ways was my fault, because if I was offering such a killer service, they would wanted to stick with me. Right. But nobody knew what the market was going to be like, and so 75% of my business was gone. So now I'm down to 25%, which was not enough to live on. at that time, 25% wasn't, and that was very scary. And so from March, when that hit, March 17th was the date that I lost 75% of my business, because several people called me up or emailed me and said no more. I'm like, oh crap. And I was 1 year into running the business, almost to the date.
Wow.
And I went, I woe is me. Basically, for 3 months, I went, woe is me, woe is me. And then June hit, and my kids are getting out of school, and I'm going, I need, like, this is up to me. I gotta step up here. And so I started to make phone calls, started to connect with people and put the effort in. And then I ended up growing my business 31% that year from the previous year. So like, it worked out. Maybe it was 41%, whatever. It worked out. But the failure for me was I was basically giving up for 3 months.
Yeah.
I just gave up. The second failure has been, again, a mindset issue for me, right? So I lost the branding. I used to have a brand called Sage, and I lost that branding because of another company with that name, and so I was infringing or something like that. And whatever, we've worked it out. Everything's fine, but all that work seemingly is lost, right? The book with that name and a bunch of other things is seemingly lost. And so my mindset for a while there was, again, woe is me. And once I switched to this blue collar focus, everything changed, because I went, no, there's people out here I know I can serve, and I deeply care about their success, because it actually connects to a much larger vision that I have as it relates to that. And I could talk about that. But when I made that, reconnected to my roots, reconnected to what's important to me, that mindset shifted. So for me, my failures are in mindset, which then leads to failures in action, or failure in inacting, not taking action. So I would say that would be the two big ones.
They hit on a great point. A lot of business owners, we all hit that wall, if you will, and we just sit there and stare at the wall.
Yes, that's what I did.
Instead of like figuring out how to get over it or around it or under it, we just sit there and stare at it. And I hate to say it, it happens to every business owner.
Right. Fortunately, the second time, it was only a few weeks instead of a few months. And then I was able to pivot, and I'm really excited and glad that I did. But yeah, and we won't mention the two businesses that failed prior. The personal training business went well, but then I had this online dream of a personal training business. That was a disaster. And then I had a life coaching thing I tried, and that was a mess, but I learned from both of them. So I'm okay with failure, and I'm familiar with it.
I'd say that's how we learned the biggest. I mean, my very first business, I had all my clients were in the tech space. Tech bubble burst. Well, so did my business.
Yeah.
Overnight. Within 2 days. I mean, everyone didn't even have a phone number all of a sudden. They were all disconnected. They can't pay their bill. And I did what any entrepreneur would do. I just curled up in a corner and cried for 3 days, and then came out of that and opened up my second company, consulting the companies that were still left and war torn, who still had money. And I'm like, okay, I'll go after them. And I grew that business like overnight.
Yeah.
That was a great market, because they needed serious help. Right.
That's awesome. Fantastic pivot. That's for sure.
Yeah. But it took 3 days of, woe is me, and, no.
Yeah, we need that. You got to grieve, right? You got to grieve a little.
Totally.
Let's give ourselves permission.
Yeah, you got to give it took me years and years later to figure out, you got to give yourself permission to do that.
Yeah, it's true.
At the time, I just you're just down.
Yeah. Yes.
Talking about staring at that wall, right? So all our guests give something away to the audience to help them in their business or in their life. What do you have to offer to give away to our audience?
Yeah, I have a fantastic Facebook group that's full of blue collar business owners, and we're communicating and sharing insights with one another throughout the week. It's a pretty active group. setting up times to meet, to do hour-long conversations with everybody in there that wants to join. So for me, I want to bring as much value as I can to folks so they can benefit from one another. If there's anything I've learned in business, it's if you can get people to collaborate, there is so much to be gained there. And so this community is built for that purpose.
Oh, great. And we're going to have the links to all of that in our show notes. So please hop in Kyle's group, check it out. Hey, help yourself, grow your business. That's what we're after.
100%.
Great. Any parting words before we go here?
Use that question. I would say, challenge yourself to be a listener. Be okay with at least 8 seconds of silence after you ask a question. Be okay with that awkwardness that comes with not having the answer. Even if you know the answer, be okay with the awkwardness that is silence. That's what I would say. Just repeat that and be okay with it.
Great advice. Well, Kyle, thanks a lot for being our guest here. And folks, if you like Kyle and our other guests, please make sure you like and subscribe to this channel and like this episode. I'm sure Kyle would like to see all those likes. Makes him feel good too. I am Biz Coach Steve Feld, wishing you and your business much success.
We hope you enjoyed today's topic. If you'd like to discuss how you can apply these strategies in your business, let us know. This episode is sponsored by Spotlight Books. Get your own expert book written about you in 30 days. Set yourself apart from the competition. Make sure you like and subscribe to this channel. Also, feel free to give us your comments. We look forward to hearing from you on Biz Coach and Coffee.